One day, one day, one day. It's not about we don't lose, we are lose when we don't. The innocent blood, French fries, but keep on moving, don't know what I'm still waiting. And in this place, you might lose your way, your way. Not trying to waste you, but don't let it get away, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity is around, I know someday it'll all turn around because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, now we know the war, and I'm still here. One day, one day,
Yours, wait.
one day, one day, one day. One day I will change, should keep on the same. Stop with the violence, now with the pain. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun. Why all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more, that we don't go war, and our children will be here. One day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say.
Gotta head out here in a minute, alright? You okay? We're gone for like 2 hours, alright? Alexander, you don't want to come home? No lights. No lights. They're driving you stir crazy, you know. No lights.
Kumusta ka, aking mahal? Sana ay nasa mabuti ka. Ay huwag mong intindihin,
You look like you was pissed off.
nakakaraos
No.
din. Mga gabing mapangawari, dinadaan sa awitin, nalulungkot kong damdamin,
My socks.
naaaliw pa rin. Panaginip ko'y laging ikaw, sinta. Kahit na dilat yaring mata, kahit na malayo ka'y parating mapigang mahal. Kumusta ka? Malalim na itong gabi, malamig ang simoy ng hangin. Kung mayaya ka Panaginip ko'y lagi ikaw sinta. Kahit na dilat yaring mata, kahit na malayo ka'y para rin kapiling ka, mahal. Kumusta ka? Panaginip ko'y lagi ikaw sinta. Kahit na dilat yaring mata, kahit na malayo ka'y para rin kapiling ka, mahal. Kumusta ka? Panaginip ko'y lagi ikaw kahit na dilat yaring mata, kahit na malayo ka'y para rin kapiling ka, mahal. Kumusta ka? Kumusta ka, aking mahal?
I just wanted to show that it was copyright free because these idiots will hear somebody singing reggaeton or reggae in Spanish, and they'll be like, "Oh, copyright." The copyright one, right? The music isn't even the original place. I'm not going to go into it with them because they're young and they symbiotic to idiosyncrasy. But I just wanted to play that because I actually, y'all know I like reggae. I like Afro beats. It's the idiots who don't know no better, the young ones who don't have no clue. And we're not here to banish. I'm just saying it's a reality. But y'all know what it is. It's AM, and then I'll be gone for 2 hours. When I come back, I just want to read a little bit of this. But first before I do that, I want to give out some hints. Like, usually when I fast, the longest I fast, I think, was like 27 days. And that was literally drinking like maybe 2 cups of water a day. I wasn't using no lemon or no limes. And I cramped kind of often, but then I had a reset after like, I think 12 days where I wasn't cramping. So instead of my body cannibalizing, because I was not putting no fats in, instead of my body cannibalizing muscle and everything, it reset itself. Now, I didn't have to go the 27 days. Let me turn this light on because my face looks like a portrait of some sort, and that's not what we're going for here. Anywho, right? It's just the light in the background is very bright out there. Anywho, right? So I was conversing with a doctor, and I don't really trust getting my blood work. I don't trust the needles where they're being prepped at, going into packaging. I think the needles are tainted. It's just me personally, y'all. The way this wicked government's working, I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying it's medical information. I am not a practicing doctor of any sort or anything like that, regardless of what little so-called medical background or perversions. So instead of getting the blood work, which I would normally do just to see, to mitigate things, I know what happens when you fast. So I decided, I've been I haven't eaten yet. So about 2 days now, and whatever time it is, 9:30, 9:40. I think I'm gonna go back to 12:12, where that's called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is actually just as good as fasting alone. The only problem is you don't want to drink coconut water, eat no coconut because of the carb, the sugar, even though it's less than if you was out there eating sugar. Don't eat no dairy, never eat no dairy, never eat no sugar. Cut that, stop snacking, stop eating those potato chips, all that stuff fried and made in canola oil, peanut oil, vegetable oil. Stop. That stuff is toxic. It has always been, and it's always been known even by the FDA, to which regulated by, they say, a number. And those people aren't even doctors. So stop eating that stuff. When you see all them Snicker bars and all that, Charleston shoes, if they still got them, now any of that stuff, stop eating them. If you go to the movies, leave the popcorn, the pretzels, leave all that crap alone. Let me tell you something. First, for the women, a lot of y'all suffer sometimes from fibrosis and all that kind of stuff, thyroid problems. You got to leave the dairy alone. Leave those coffee creamers alone. I'm not going to get into all the chemicals, the process, the refining, and everything else. Those are pure chemical elates. You do not want to partake in them. Sugar, stop. Don't, if you're going to fast for like 2 or 3 days or intermittent, 12 and 12, do yourself a favor. Stay away from the brown sugar, the granulated, because it's not all what it seems to be. I look back at the war, World War II, in Germany, and I think in Russia. I think about how the individuals were taking sawdust and wheat and cooking it together and giving people 3 slices of bread a day with some kind of hot grass or potato soup. Yeah, they lived and they survived. It was totally different. They weren't so chemically, we used to do that now with the way things are made today. So, because if y'all were to go to the hospital, the first thing these megalas want to do is go and take your uterus, your ovaries. And the thing is, you really don't know what they're doing with it. And they do it as if it's always the ones at the top who have litigated this. Because you got to remember, doctors are, not to badmouth them, they're going by what they've been taught and what they've learned. It's not medicinal. It's not truly medicinal. It's based on John D. Rockefeller and the institutionalization of certain things. So they're butchers. And based upon the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, to which we are obliged to, because I am no U.S. citizen. I don't know where they get off believing that you got to be a U.S. citizen in order to have something. That's just ludicrous. All right. Whenever they have that little form says you renounce your United States, I put up, no, I never accepted it. See, there's a difference when you know these things. I heard Chata Hyatt beat out, he could tell you himself if he comes in here, but he won in Jersey his freedom to travel, which I keep telling you, they haven't been judges since 1798. And really 18 after Lincoln. No judges really existed, solidified. These are magistrates, but they're not. You see, they wear black, represent black seat law. Maritime law has nothing to do with the land. They believe because they tricked you into something, they live by that's the liquidity. That is what you're bound by. You're not bound by none of that because they have a bunch of idiots who are undertrained running around. I am grateful for the special forces guys who teach police, not based upon Zionist idea, false Zionist 13 tribe narratives of pain and suffrage, but there's still a bunch of idiots running around, and you see more and more of them being reported on YouTube by real journalists, not this fake media, and unless they want to go ahead and, for those who observe the fake media all the time, that's what they are. For those who want to observe them and be distracted, then so be it. But for those who want to pay attention to the journalists out here who are really doing some serious work, You're gonna be better informed than this fake media system that is propagated, because it used to be 50 and there's now it's only 6, and they're controlled by the same entities who would bring harm to you. So women, you got to be careful. There's nothing wrong with getting fat in your diet, not at all. The thing is, if you're not raising your own pig, your own beef, your own cattle, your own chickens, you're getting exactly what they put in it, especially if it's coming abroad. And that's what's happening right now. I know a lot of y'all seeing that Select all of a sudden is popping up all over the place. You need to know who's behind that. It's not even about the dollar no more. It's more about control and you. Stay away from that crap. Okay? I don't care if it says PBA free. Lying. There's something else. Something nobody's figured out yet. That's how they mitigate. That's how they do. Okay? Men. I know it happens at 50 and 60, which it didn't happen when I was growing up. I used to hit grandma and grandpa bumping like it was retarded, like they was retarded. But your TR is down. So intermittent fasting or fasting, at least for 5 days. When you fast, right? I'm gonna tell you a little difference. When you fast, your cortisol and everything goes up. There's stress kind of. It's not bad. Just pay attention now. Your TRT even goes down a little more. What's happening, and there's other factors that are happening. What is happening is your body's doing a reset. Remember, I was speaking on your birth date. If you know the hour and the minute and the day, right? To take that day alone, to fast 12 hours prior and after, and to meditate and to breathe. I don't care how many times a day, stay away from the TV, stay away from the ambient light, be in the darkness, and allow your body and get at least 10 to 12 hours of sleep, because you're going to be tired. 12 and 12, that's 24 plus the hour, the time you take in between to reset. And what's going to happen is your blood, remember we were talking about the 33 and the Atlas, the universe, and the chakras. What happens is your blood does an up and down, an ascension and a descension and an ascension, and it resets, it purifies. Now, I'm going to go back to 12 and 12 because I have an injury. I think I kicked the table when I flipped his ass, butt is behind, excuse my language, into the door, and I was asleep because I went right back to sleep. I didn't pay attention to it. I told you my pain tolerance is very high. I've been kicking trees and all kinds of stuff all my life, and I don't have no cartilage between my big toe and my foot. They wanted to cut my toe, whatever was in there, out and let my toe just flap around. This is how sick they are. When we have the ability, and you can look it up for yourself, to regenerate tissue, cartilage. Men, if you want to raise your testosterone, stop eating breads. If you don't know how to bake it, or you're not sure, I will recommend Ezekiel bread, all right, based upon what I know of it. As long as they stand with that order. Dave's super sprout bread, definitely. But the thing is, how often should you eat it? Well, you got to look at your weight. You got to look at what you plan on doing. But the most important thing, at the end of your intermittent fasting or your fasting, whether you do it for 3 or 4 days, I'm going to do it for 5 days. I did two days into this point, no eating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 12. So at about, when I come back after 2 hours, I guess it'll be probably about 1 o'clock or whatever, right? I'll go ahead and I'm not going to have no beans. I'm going to have a smoothie. Whenever you fast and you come off your fast, do not go sit down and eat big ass meals. Just don't do it. It's reported that the people who are surviving off those 3 breads made out of the worst ingredients in the world that were surviving on that, and we're talking about for like months. When they got a good meal, they died from shock, and their heart had what they had was called a pulmonary, had a heart attack. The body just couldn't deal with all that. It was foreign to what they had been doing. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't have went back to eating, but they should have started with a little rubbish, get the fiber in there. You see what I'm saying? And then started off with some half decent fats. But the thing is, the food back then was a lot better than what it is now. It's the mindset and the body's reaction to it after it has been cannibalizing itself. So
potential spam.
God, they always want to wait when they're watching. No, nigga. They always, excuse my French. I don't want to see it. it's spam. Anyway, you know, they should have been litigated. Dave Blaine did that thing where he stood up for like 43 days. He had to go and have an IV. If he would have ate something, even as much as a smoothie, he may have went in shock because he's been doing it for so long. He's been pushing his body. Now, needless to say, for the testosterone in men, if you're eating soy is an estrogen inhibitor. Now you may know why you saw a little short I did. Why men are looking at other men. It's not even about them being a man. It's a perverted physical attraction. It's not even about the booty. It's something changed. And y'all stay away from that dang soy. They destroyed all our natural crops to have our people growing by the government, this fake government that didn't have no law, didn't have the power to do it now. Just had a bunch of dumb jackboots running around who are probably putting dog masks on and doing this weird stuff themselves. Other than the ones of sense, they were never sent the ones of sense out there to do this. Policy is not law. And you would think they would be smart enough to know that, but they're not. 6 months of college don't mean nothing. However long a police academy ain't crap either, because you're dealing with more perverse individuals educating you, walking around in a professional manner. We dealt with it in the military. Trust me. Anyway, silent weapons for silent wars. Anyway, stay away from it. If you're having a problem with your prostate, you can reverse that. But you got to stay away from the creamers and all the milk, the dairy, the cheeses. You've got to stay away from it. If you get something that supplements something different, make sure that you call and you converse with them, that there's no chemicals, there's no, I always say, if you're going to get something that's got some kind of syrup in it, though it's refined, tapioca syrup, which comes from the kava root, is probably the best one. But out of that, you're only going to get 1 calorie. But the thing is, they got you, like me, I have different things to take to benefit my prostate. I stopped utilizing it last week, only because I always grew up, we used to do roasted chestnuts, horse chestnuts. I was like, wait a minute. I remember in the military hearing about this new product came out, and steroid users, the bodybuilders using, and we were working out. We were big as thing, but we weren't on that crap. Couldn't be. Get tested all the time. And I heard about supplements that were water chestnut, and people still swear about it like now. So I would advise you to look into water chestnut to help with your prostate, which frees up, because it's a little water chestnut size thing that wraps around your urethra, and when it swells, it inhibits. It doesn't assist in better urine flow. Testosterone, again, stay away from soy, stay away from the sugars, stay away from all that stuff. Allow yourself a little intermittent fasting. It's not going to kill you. And whatever you put in your body, make sure you're getting more fiber than anything. So after a period of time of fasting, intermittent or not, what happens at the end of it, when you start putting things in it, your testosterone doubles. Your cortisol level comes down, and all the other factors that go opposite replenish. It's a reset. That's why we say it's good to fast, and our people did it once a month for a long time. When I get to reading this, it's not, I don't know if there's anything but dietary. I was just going over what I was reading last night, because I was going to read one little part once I'm done talking here. Just one little part before I head out. Put sock on this old bow ass foot and check the mail and everything. We are continuously lied to. Think about the squirt, right? They said the FDA approved it. No, that was a rush to get it out there because they're part of the agenda. It's never been. I was watching it was with Ron Paul on them. It was never, and that amazes me that he wants to say it now. I guess they got their number. I don't know. It was never. Actually, it's being tested now, and they're seeing the outcome of it. That's how sick and perverse it is. That's not medical misinformation. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Now you have all these pharmacies, and this is the most perverse thing. I'm looking at all these pharmacies, and who do I see always walking around that look like us? One of these. What is going on? Was this a get back at the natural, what's considered normal people? I thought gay people were normal. They were just gay. I was protecting half of them when I was a guardian angel, and if something was happening, it's like a police officer. He might be a bad cop, but if I see something going down and that individual It's not is fighting back. Now if it's for life and death, the guy's saying this cop's trying to kill me, then I'm be like, well, officer, if that's the case, because a lot of you are bad and maybe you should clean up the people you're working with. You got to work this out yourself. But most time I'll be right there and I'll protect the officer. It's just natural, my moral subjugation. And moral subjugation can be off. That's why I said what I said. I've trained a few of them. I'm not ex-military training, getting paid and all that crap and all that. You know, got to stay in the fight nonsense. We have always been in the fight all our lives. These cats, before they go in there, it's not even about that. The sports and this, that, and that, like the rest of us, playing football, basketball, baseball, we've done it all too. Problem is, when we were great swimmers, I got pictures of us, greatest swimmers ever. And all of a sudden, 1940s come along, then 56, Jim Crow, and all of a sudden we can't be using our own pools. They're filling in our old pools once they decide not to swim in it with concrete and destroyed our cities and this, that, and other. So we kind of forget that. Not everybody that lives by the rivers and the oceans, but the majority of the suburbs and the cities, they've lost that way. Always a reversal, always a change of history and a narrative painted to an individual who is not an enemy, but becomes an enemy based upon ignorance. We have to change. The force factor is us. We have to relegate ourselves to a better comprehension of what it is we're putting in our bodies. I'm still drinking lime water, but even on top of the lime water, I took 1 charcoal a day. Why? Because I'm still drinking, even though it's water I filtered, and I put it back into the containers. I've got 4 of them up here. It took me an hour and a half, 2 hours almost to fill them all up and filter the water. It's just unbelievable. I'm still doing lime, but I'm also drinking regular water. No coconut water, because coconut water spike the sugar spike. Excuse me. And if you're going to have green tea, because of bioflavonoids and all that stuff and all the other good stuff that's in it, be careful of the caffeine, because then you might have a hard time sleeping, unless you've been drinking coffee like a mad person and you just go to sleep anyway. But that's other factors I don't want to get into about your synapses, how they're firing. Be mindful, even with alkalinity, which is not going to harm you, but you got to remember, a lot of us don't move like we used to. We're not out there tilling the ground, in the sun, in the cold, traveling. When, I'm in here meditating and breathing. I'm walking a lot. Been down close to the foot, but I'm still walking heel toe. I mean, but just so I can heal with ice. I'm icing it like crazy. This is the one, I have 3 of these. I like to take these. I like the cold, y'all. And I'm not going to explain that. But anyway, I'm just wrapping it with my ace bench, not the big 6-incher, but the little 3-inch, wrapping it around and letting it sit on and it's allowing my foot. I don't even feel the numbness no more. It's just allowing, keeping the swelling down, which is not that much, but it's allowing. I think I might have jammed it a little bit, so that's what's going on. Even though there's no cartilage, I believe cartilage has regrown in there because of its mobility. I really do. But also we have to pay attention to what we take. So men and women, I know a lot of people like to get L-arginine, right? We like to get that what you call it, a boost. So we get beets and all that stuff. Be careful, because there's 2 forms, how it's utilized. Your body has one. So if you put an outside source in it and it's low, it'll utilize that to convert it to nitrous oxide, not NO2. And what happens is your body uses that for better breathing, oxygen absorption and all that kind of stuff, better gains and all that. The thing is, like anything else, too much of anything is a bad thing, especially when you come off of fasting, because when you come off of fasting, your body has the majority of the minerals and stuff in it. Now, if you're vitamin deficient, be careful of what you utilize to put that back in your system. Even a lot of things that say organic, they may be organic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best. Like everybody's talking sea moss. Are you aware there's a lot of companies using farm sea moss that is not from Ireland or the coast of Jamaica, purple or red, and it's crap? It is crap. There's nothing to be gained out of it. So they're making a gel, you're partaking in it. There's no, how many, 80 something minerals? No, maybe 10, 15%, if that, 20. It's just no good. And it's mostly melanated people doing it, because a lot of our people are just no good. You hear me? I want y'all to share this, man. That's why I said I'm not going to beat up on a whole lot of folks. that invitation is already made, so they can bring their little hypothetical, little emotional behinds over and get what they deserve. All right, because I'm embarrassed. But anywho, I want y'all to pay attention to this stuff because this is very, very important. This is lucrative to you. You got to remember, it is a battle for your soul. Regardless of it's lizard people, what lizard things, or the Nephilim, whatever. The mounds is well known that we buried many giants. Were those ones that worked with us, or were those ones that fought a royal fight and we knew what they were and we buried them as a sign? Nobody knows. It's a possibility. The reality is we need to get into who we are and bring our enlightenment, our hava, our light up. Or we can stay in this zoom, zinni, darkness, which y'all know I say jannah. We can stay there. And that's where the majority of us are, in the darkness. So how can we acclimate and speak prophetically about things we don't know about, we believe in, we don't even believe in ourselves? So we have to make a correlation of change to rectify the situation. And the only way to do that is diet. To change our perception is we've got to be open and be able to listen and be able to hear. That's the only way to know the difference. Right now, a lot of us will go, bah humbug. And the individuals telling a person are expressing something that needs to be heard. That is the situation because you're dealing with many faculties. You can call them entities, you can call them spirits, bad, good, whatever. We're dealing with many different faculties running around who have no good intention, none whatsoever. So we have to metastasize our own good tumor to remove the bad tumor. You dig what I'm saying? And so I thought it would be important. Now, even though I was talking about for the women, as far as the things that are messing us up is messing you up as well. Can't no woman that goes through a sex change, all this stuff, die and go be dug up and be called a man, still a freaking woman. Talking about pronouns. How I'm gonna call you a pronoun when you got a name? Now, if you want to call yourself Electric Light or Johnny Boo Boo, then that's gonna be your name. I don't care what. But if you think I'm all around talking about you's a furry and this, that, and other, these people have been programmed by the same spirit entities, lies, darkness, Jannah, that have right now are on the front row. And you see the government is partitioning to them. That should tell you that this government is not of the people, by the people, for the people of the republic. The U.S. has nothing to do with this land nor the people. It is against the land and the people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spraying the crap. They wouldn't be poisoning the ground and then sending it to our brothers and sisters in South America, no matter what their background. When I tell you the earth was all one, if you don't want to believe that, it's on you. I see somebody liked it and pulled the like away. My apologies, man, if you can't handle it. Oh, well. It's no loss here. And it's only certain places, Bill Gates, with the pesticides, who are growing fruits and vegetables. Now, I've heard from certain individuals who I know who says they're part of that and they don't use it. So that means, but you won't know when you go to the store because see, when the stuff comes up here, they still hit it with the paraffin spray. They hit it with the pesticides when it gets here because there are our brothers and sisters, good people in South America who are growing this stuff and they refuse to use it in their soil and everything else because it will affect them. Now, you have some corrupt individuals, they're going to do it. So then you get double fold. Now, at one time, the fruit were being covered with tapioca wax. That's all it is. All right, from the cassava. They stopped that. They're using something else. I've been doing my best to find out. It used to be beeswax as well. They stopped that. They're putting chemicals on the fruits and vegetables. Do you know what vegetable has the most pesticides in it, but yet it can help you with your diabetes? It can help you with your thyroid problems, iodine? Okra. One of the biggest things that we took all around the world. They want to act like it came from Africa. Where was it growing at in Africa? No, it wasn't. It's one of the vegetables, just like pumpkins and cassava and everything else that we just take around the world, right? Okra was one of our biggest stew. I grew up eating okra stew. Sun-dried okra, snacks with sea salt. See, people don't know about this. Then you go in these stores with these packaged things. Now, even those packs, those plastic packages, they're not PBA free. So you have the leaching that goes right into the flesh of the meat. That's the fruits and the vegetables. These abhorrent bastions knew exactly what they were doing. So you have these molecular biologists and these scientists. They're indoctrinated. They're part of the problem. They'll give you a remedy and says this is what's happening, all excited, but be the dumb down of the dumb down, working and believing. They've been convinced and believing it in all this genetic franchise, and they're going against natural law, natural order, and it's affecting everybody, even the goofy enemies. Knock them up top. They're not eating what you know. Believe me, they have places that if you saw it, you would think you were in a different world. Trust me on this. I can only say this one thing. When I had to wear the orange overall flight suit and go on the ground, Top Gun, or whatever, I'm just going to use Top Gun as an example. And I got to see these big screens as big as my damn apartment. And we could see all the terrain, all the lands, and see all these jets flying and dogfighting. I was looking around like, am I on Star Trek or something? I'm telling you, man. And we're talking about the friggin' 80s. They're not smart enough to do what they're doing. Something is guiding and leading them. And you better believe this. Okay? Did you know you could take copper and brass, put mercury in it, get it to spinning, and what will happen? Based upon a magnet at a certain point, it will create electricity from the air. And it won't stop until you stop it. That is natural energy. That is from everything about us. We are part of the spark of life. They had to put that in transformers to mitigate a different response, to have you, to make them, the young ones, want to be a part of something like that, instead of the dynamic of who they truly are and how powerful they are, to subjugate and subvert them to something else and to change the whole dynamic of their truth. We're still dealing with that. Not everybody is how they seem or as you perceive them. It is how you've been indoctrinated. That's why we're reading William Cooper, Pale Horse, Silent Weapons for Silent Wars. Now we're about to get into the next part. You know, I want to go ahead and I just wanted to talk about that. I don't want to beat up on anybody. I shared some things that are questionable. You know, I shared Cox wearing the thing with the woman. It was just funny to me. You know, the Astro Boy boots. This is showing that people will follow anything. We need to stop paying attention to these individuals as if they're really somebody. You know, even Slick Rick won a Grammy. He literally put out a video putting all this rose gold and everything around him with his little gold patch over his, his little diamond patch over his eye, and he looked with one eye. If you pay attention, it says peasants. That's not the Slick Rick I remember from New York when I was coming up back in the 80s. See, y'all didn't listen to Michael Jackson when he was talking about Tony Mottola, wicked racist converted to Judaism. Another bastion of a new suppression has nothing to do with the truth of Hebraicism, which is a lifestyle to which they wanted to remove from us, which is still entwined in our truth. Worldwide. Scattered everywhere. That's why we never owned anything. We made and built, subjugate. We taught the new Moors. We taught all the. There was no religion before everybody paid attention to us. Even with the, as you saw me reading, even with the caliphates and the Christians, which were younger than Islam, they got it from us. Muhammad set down a lot of people being chased and murdered, and he was illiterate. He couldn't write, and then he was murdered by some of the new converts. Nobody likes that truth. Nobody likes the truth of history. There was no Islam. It was Muhammad. It was a movement protecting the righteous who roam the earth. I told you, look into the Hada people. It's hard to find information on them now. Maybe you get fortunate enough to go to an old bookstore and come across it. They had to eradicate all those books. Book burnings are going on right now. Change defacing major structures that tell our story. Nobody wants to say nothing because it's the enemies of truth. very vile and wicked people. No religion ever spoke of death, but was only mitigated by an enemy. How many people, I'm gonna ask this question. How many people you know who have ever done something, shot somebody, whatever? I know quite a few. And I would say, did anybody ever approach you after that? Talking about they can use you? So, and all 20 some of the people I know have taken somebody's life says, yeah, man, didn't happen right away, but within that week, I was approached upon. Be wary. Because see, the spirits that roam the earth can mitigate different factors, but there are physical entities walking the earth that you know nothing about. They can be destroyed. The problem is they come based upon a different oath, and it's against you and everything out here. You can see it around the world. Sometimes it wears a costume. Let me read this. This is George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America, Ella Brown Classics. Now, I'm going to read the first part, and it's short. And then the second part, I'm going to show you how there could be some hidden history in here. I haven't read this whole thing. You know, I just got it yesterday. So anyway, this is George Jones. At least this is the picture. You see, it's very white. Okay. Is it true? I don't know if that's the real picture of him. This is An Original History of Ancient America, founded upon the ruins of antiquity. The identity of the Aborigines with the people of Tyrus and Israel, and the introduction of Christianity by the Apostle St. Thomas by George Jones, RSI, MFSV, etc., dedicated to His Grace, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, this is 1843. Reason why I want to read that, I want you to pay attention to some key words. Did you catch them? I'll read it when I go on tonight before I read Abraham Africanus 1. I'm going to read this again. So pay attention when I'm reading. The history of ancient America anterior to the time of Columbus, proving the identity of the Aborigines with the Tyrians and Israelites, and the introduction of Christianity into the Western Hemisphere. Now, I told y'all in 1500s, King James came here. He was here for 5 to 6 years. There was no Christianity anywhere. That's why I say pay attention when I'm reading these books. By the Apostle St. Thomas. We know that the apostles and all these men gods exerted themselves in the 1700s. They didn't exist before that. By George Jones, MRSI, SFE, because you see they put it in their perverted Bible. If you want to peer upon the face of God, look into the water. That's casting self shadow. Okay? Dedication to His Grace, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Your Grace, upon the completion of the Tyrian era of this work, I submitted the outline to an illustrious prince whose urbanity and amiability are not the least of his high qualities claiming admiration. Listen to the slick talk. And in reference to my desire of dedication replied, with respect to the request preferred, His Royal Highness thinks, especially with references to the subject matter of the present historic work, that it would be far better to select for the dedication some theologian of high rank in the sacred profession, somebody who can attest because they're about to go into a righteous place, and eminent for his learning and piety. He's very direct, you know what I'm saying? It's piety, under whose auspices would more appropriately be placed than him. Anyway, than under his own. The original history of ancient America. Okay? The suggestion and description thus expressed by His Royal Highness, and from one in such an august station, evidently contemplate the primate. Now, who remember yesterday when I read March and April, the actual name of the months? It's one, but even though there's 5 seasons of 13 months, pay attention, man. They've eradicated all our history, bruh, and minimalized it by extending years phenomenally in a great magnitude. The answer of Your Grace to my letter upon the subject, my sense of obedience to the suggestion of His Royal Highness, and in parentheses it states, who has honored me as his visitor and guest, and my own feelings of profound veneration for Your Grace, together Now, grace is like always alluded to God, right? Anyway, listen. With the importance of historically establishing the fulfillment of additional prophecies by Isaiah, we knew who Isaiah became, right? An Ashkenaz. Anyway, not pay attention. The introduction of Christianity into the Western Hemisphere by one of the 12 apostles in person. The founding of the Christianity into the Western Hemisphere by one of the 12 apostles. So that's not 2,000 years ago, people. Pay attention. You heard about the name Isaiah and the book I'm reading, Arthur Koestler's The 13th Tribe. The coup d'etat of the original people and the assertion from King Bolan 5 generations down. Come on now, pay attention. Apostles in person, the founding of ancient America more than 3 centuries previous to that sacred event, with the identity of the Aborigines and thus unfolding additional truth of the Bible, being of that character to call forth attention from every part of the globe, where civilization is known, all the divine blessings of religion are received and appreciated. These considerations all assure me that in dedicating to your grace the original history of ancient America, I but follow the dictates of an imperative duty, and shall cherish the hope that my literary labors upon this novel subject will receive the fostering protection of one whose life, learning, and piety, that means humble kind of, are alike conspicuous, and who by their triple power of the Son, Holy Ghost, has been enabled to dare fearless comparisons with the past, to continue blessings to the present, and to create examples of faith and charity that may be imitated but cannot be excelled by those of a future age. With the fervent prayer that the Almighty Father may long preserve the life and faculties of your grace, that they may continue to cast their benevolent and protecting influence around the divine institution of Christianity, I thus express my devotional duty and remain your grace and religious fidelity most faithfully, George Jones. Now listen to this. Volume the first. They never said volume 1 of the first volume. It says volume the first, or the Tyrian Error, in 2 books. The Ruins of Antiquity in Ancient America, described and analyzed, and the Aboriginal Architects identified. Book 2, The Scriptural, Political, and Commercial History of Tyrus, to the Destruction of that Kingdom by Alexander of Macedon, and the Tyrian Migration to the Western Hemisphere in the year 332 before Christ. Inscription of the first volume. Now listen to the Masonics. Listen for the Masonic stuff. To His Majesty Frederick William IV, King of Prussia. It's down there. God dang it. Y'all gonna make me climb off of this 5 foot high, 6 foot high bed. 1 foot on the ladder. You know they murdered him and his wife for this. Listen to the sign. Just listen. Listen. Your Majesty, with feelings of enthusiasm founded on the contemplation of a peaceful and patriotic king, do I inscribe to Your Majesty the first volume of an effort to delineate the history of ancient America. If in the following pages Your Majesty should recognize your own portraiture, that's it, portraiture, in that of Hiram, the great Hiram Abeth, it is such as truth and history have designed and colored. Fawning, flattery, and false adulation have not added even a thought to embellish where patriotism has so nobly consolidated. Listen to the words now. The building of Solomon's temple at Jerusalem by Hiram of Tyrus was not more generous and liberal in religious sentiments than were your own. Listen, as Protestant king of Prussia, this is an inscription, y'all, in laying the cornerstone of the Catholic cathedral in Cologne, the fervent words at which ceremony Time will howl within his archives. Nor was your own branch of Christianity forgotten or neglected. Own branch of Christianity. Forgotten or neglected. For the sacred city of Jerusalem previously recorded your majesty's munificence in promulgating the divine faith of salvation. Faith of salvation. For the peace of Europe and for the prosperity of Prussia, for the advancement of religious and civil liberty, education, literature, the arts, and sciences, may the disposer of events prolong the life and intellectual vigor of your majesty to the utmost verge of venerable age. And when the monument shall enclose your earthly remains, may your subjects feel that your royal ancestor, Frederick of Prussia, was not the only monarch of their fatherland deserving the time-honored and historic surname of the Great. I am flattered in the occasion which permits me to render this tributary offering and to subscribe myself, your majesty's obedient and obliged George Jones. To the deep, this preface, only a smaller portion, I'm going to shut this down. To the deep historic interest expressed by His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge concerning the Aborigines of America may be traced the production of this work. It led the author originally to write the Israel Indian. Listen, it led the author originally to write the Israel Indian tragedy of Tecumseh, illustrative of the patriotic race of the North, in which composition has received the honor of being dedicated to the illustrious prince by special permission. The publication has been delayed only from the fact that it would anticipate this branch of the present work and might consequently be injurious. The investigations necessary for writing of North America called into action the study and observation of years in relation to South America, and in contemplating the newly discovered ruined cities and temples upon that moiety of the Western continent. The very spirit of the romance of truth seemed to find a voice in every sculptured altar, column, stone, or pyramid. And when upon the enthusiastic pursuit of hidden knowledge, the sudden discovery of early Christianity and its sacred promulgator were identified with the Western Hemisphere, sanctioned as is the discovery of Holy Writ, history and tradition, customs, and the oracular sculptures of antiquity. Language has no power to express the bounding feelings of the heart when that original vision of the mind became apparent as the stern reality of historic truth, knowing from experience that works upon antiquities described in language cold as the marbles they illustrate are not of deep interest to the general reader. The author has therefore avoided the usual frigid style and has consequently placed around them such fervent and glowing words as their novel characters have authorized and demanded. I'm going to stop it there. We'll pick it up later. Whoa, they did a job on our people, boy. But they're too dumb, Prince. They're too dumb to have done what they done all by their lonesome self. The coup d'etat of our people all over earth, and this being the last Sebastian after South America, slow, predictable, but slow. I guess we can make it up, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that. That's about it. I appreciate everybody that come in. Any new subscribers that came here, make sure that you inform anybody else that may subscribe with you to go ahead and check the notifications always. If you don't already know, some of you may already know, hit the notification bell, give me a like. I appreciate it. One day we'll beat the algorithm and we'll be able to bring more people over. Right now, people are still fanciful with the predations of what's going on in the world, sadly. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to give you guys a shout out, and I'm going to give my clothes on. I took a shower and threw this. I ain't got no drawers on. I just got sweats and my pajama, combi pants on. I ain't got no. I'm sitting here. I gotta get suited up. You know, I'm just gonna put on sweats and go out here and check the mail, waiting on some packages. So let's see who came in. Mac Ming, what's going on, brother? Hey, Randall, what's cracking, family? You already know. All right, everybody's family. Hey, what's up, Sue? Big Pontiac, greetings, beloved. Caramel, what's going on, man? Yeah, I checked out your last video last night. I actually fell asleep. I got a little more to watch, man. About 20 minutes. It was good. Well, 15 minutes. It's good. Very good. Check him out, y'all. Hey, APJR, what's cracking, brother? Evelyn Smiley, hey, what's going on? The Great Wolf, all my beautiful brothers and sisters. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys, man. DJ, bless up. What's going on? Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, and I'm gonna head on out. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be out for an hour and a half, maybe 2. And when I come back, I'll go live and I'll show y'all what I'm gonna. I'll show you what I'm gonna make. It's gonna be a smoothie. And usually I do like half of what the smoothie, like 1 scoop and half instead of the 2, because that's a lot. And I would, because I'm not eating nothing right now, I would usually have like 4 eggs, because people don't know the truth about eggs. If it's not organic, they're actually putting stuff to change the color of yolks, even the color of the shell. I know they're expensive, but if you want to get protein and calcium and all that stuff, and you're not eating enough carrots and zucchinis to get the vitamin K and all that, you really should pay attention and start at this moment. It's about to be all shut down. Afford yourself time. If you haven't bought no Jersey Reds and all them kind of chickens and hens, you haven't went out there and got you some plywood and chicken wire mesh and built you a chicken coop. For those who like to eat meat, I'm just saying. I'm just doing what I'm doing because I know what's about to come, and most of my survival food has meat in it. So I have no problem with going 2 days without eating. Y'all really need to buckle down. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, aluminium and zirconium. Yeah, well, everybody's got to zirconium. I know. Everybody's got to pay attention and do the best you can to learn whatever it is you can learn in a short period of time. Put your focus on it. If you're working a job, you should already know your job. It shouldn't be a problem to afford yourself a little time to study something else, to have a little more information in another department. You know, yesterday a friend of mine came up to me and he says he had a friend of his who wanted to meet me, and he didn't speak no English, and I guess he might have came over the border. God was cool. I mean, I could feel, you know, and my man works here, and he thought I looked like one of his cousins, LaGuardia, from Colombia. I looked just like he would have a picture. I was like, holy! I says, well, because a lot of y'all know I got Spanish bloodline. I mean, it's not because of the skin tone and all that. It's just, I'm telling you, there's somebody that looks like you everywhere. It's not exactly the same. There's only one of you, but the reality is, the world is not what people think it is. Our Earth, this world that they've created, is a lie. You got to do the best what you can, guys. You got to make sense, but you got to look into yourself. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm going to talk a little more about my family's history. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off and get my butt out here. Respect and mad love to you all. To my beautiful sisters. I always tip my hat. And to my brothers, you already know. 2 to 1, if you get what I'm saying. All right. So y'all have a grand time, and I'll see y'all in a couple hours. Appreciate everybody coming in.